This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch! We're here to review Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3. Dream Warriors,
Dream
correct?
Warriors, yes.
All right, now this one features the return of what, in writer aspect, or what? Wes Craven? Did they use some of his ideas? Well, what's the story with that?
Okay, according to the Never Sleep Again Elm Street Legacy documentary, Rob Shea wanted to bring it back to the roots, and Wes had just sold like when he sold it to New Line, he sold the character. So he sold the franchise, which is why he had no control over the second one, and he's kind of disappointed about that. So he and Bob tried to reconcile, and Bob's like, look, 2 made us more money than 1, but it wasn't really particularly well liked. Could you come in and sort of steer us in the right direction? And Wes was like, okay. So he wrote the script, and it was eventually just deemed too filthy. It was essentially what you get. It was the same concept. Nancy's back, and she's tutoring these kids who are the last of the Elm Street children into how to fight back the way she fought back. And Freddy is still very much prevalent because she may have forgotten about him, but the rest of the Elm Street kids didn't. And Freddy was so dark and so sinister, like he grabs the Taryn character and like he's calling her a filthy cunt and all this like just really dark stuff, and he was gonna rip out her throat and reach in and pull out her soul, just like super super dark, disturbing stuff. And Bob Shea got this script with this idea of these characters fighting back, and he was like, all right, well thanks Wes, we're gonna film this. And Wes he wanted to write it, but he didn't really have interest in filming it because he was interested in pursuing other projects. I think at that time it was Serpent and the Rainbow he was doing. So he didn't direct the movie, and when they brought in the guy to direct it, he did a rewrite, and he was like, this is so dark, people don't want to see something this dark and disturbing. There's no, like, this isn't going to be for the wide audience because it is a sinister movie. And so he's like, well, we can dumb it down, for like want of a better word, and made Freddy start joking. And that wasn't any of Wes's things. Wes doesn't like that, though he says in the documentary he did really like the line, welcome to prime time, bitch. He's like, I did like that line. But so he brought that in, and then what else the director did was he brought sort of a bright visual style, which I think really works for the movie. The look of the third movie, I think, is the best of the early Elm Street films. I think actually, yeah, it's the best. Yeah, it's the best. I'll say it's the best of the '80s Elm Street films. Okay. And he had 2 strong female leads. Wes likes his strong female leads. He has 2 strong female leads and a very competent, strong female lead with the punk chick, which I think their identities kind of got switched around from Wes's. But all the characters were there.
I love it. In my dreams, I'm beautiful.
Yeah. She might not have been the best choice to play that character.
Why?
Like, she isn't that bad, or that bad in the movie, but that delivery is kind of laughable. But you know, Wes is also very obviously very Catholic, or at least raised as such, and that's sort of apparent in a lot of his movies. And I like that the way that they beat Freddy in this movie is kind of genius, where they're like, you know, he was just like beaten and destroyed and hidden. Like, because they had to do that. It wasn't like there was going to be a funeral for Freddy when they got him at a lynch mob. So he was hidden, and the reason that his soul keeps on haunting everybody is he's never been laid to rest, kind of thing. So I liked the whole putting the crucifix on his forehead, and then you see it in the dream world where he gets hurt, and the holy water and all that stuff, the ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and then he's gone. I really liked that, and I liked the use of Father, the return of John Saxon. Heather Langenkamp is great in the movie, and such a great lead. Patricia Arquette is the best thing in the movie. Man, she was awesome. And I liked all of the like side characters. Everybody was good, whereas like I don't remember any of the side characters practically from the second one, or the fourth one, or like I could keep on going on. Everybody had like a unique, interesting thing about them, and you actually rooted for the kids and the adults as well. And a little cameo by Lawrence Fishburne was kind of cool before he was famous. But yeah, I'm gonna give the movie very strong 3 stars, bordering around 3.5. It's very good. It's the best of the Elm Street sequels from the 80s for sure. So what do you have to say?
Yeah, pretty much what you said. 3 stars. One thing I don't necessarily like, I guess it worked for the movie, but I'm not, being not being a religious person, that whole holy water and all this kind of aspect, and the crucifix and stuff is kind of, not, it's kind of like whatever, just for me because I'm not religious. But I guess it kind of worked for the movie. And generally, when you have a movie and you have someone who's quote unquote evil, usually you use that the holy water and the crucifix is in,
The reason that I think it works is the movie isn't necessarily saying Christianity can cure all. It's more like, well, whether or not like you personally believe in it, Freddy kind of believed in it. That's why it works on him. That's why that came specifically from his mom.
In what?
Like he sort of like he was raised as a Catholic as well, being that his mom was from. Like that's what I took from it anyway.
That's
and
what you
so
took
like
away from it?
the reason that works is because he believed in it. Like not necessarily saying that like a Jewish person you put the cross on the head and then ashes, holy water, all that kind of stuff. It's not going to necessarily work. That's not what the movie was saying. But I thought it was kind of neat that like this man bred of pure hate. I don't know what I thought of the backstory of the raped by 1,000 maniacs. I do think that did come from Wes's original script. I would love to read Wes's original script. I know he was really pissed at Bob Shaye because,
so much for the Rickle consolidation.
Well, what it came out was they wanted to just use his name. Just say from the maker of Nightmare on Elm Street comes Nightmare 3, back to the beginning kind of thing. And he was really pissed that a majority of his movie, like the groundwork was there, but the tone was entirely different. It was funny and it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't dark anymore. It wasn't a horror movie. And like that all bothered him so much so he didn't talk to or have anything to do with any of the Freddy movies afterwards for years.
1993.
Yeah, so.
What's wrong, Joey? Feeling tongue-tied? The funny thing about his voice, Robert Englund's voice in that movie, is sometimes it's not treated.
Yeah, sometimes it's regular and sometimes it's super.
It's like when he's fighting that Mohawk girl.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, yeah, it's like normal voice. Why should we fight? And then the voice is all low. And I think it's the same part with the tongue-tied or something. It's weird. So yeah, they're sloppy. One thing, a lot of the set pieces are really great. Like the marionette thing, you gotta love that.
Oh, that's so creepy too.
Oh yeah, that, and also having that doll, claymation into Freddy, and the and the knives come up. The animation is really great.
Yeah.
And they have the knives come up and cut the wire, and the whole aspect of having him being like that with the tendons or whatever the hell. I mean, that was great. To me, that's pretty much the standout, kill sequence dream of the movie. I mean, that's great. Did I say 3 stars? Yeah, 3 stars. I don't necessarily, I mean, obviously, it's competent to try to do a backstory with the woman and this Amanda Kruger. Is that right?
Yeah, if it had been done better, I think it would have worked, but it just sort of seemed like it was an afterthought. That's why I really want to read Wes's original and see if it was much more about that.
Yeah.
Because it just sort of was like, let's give something for the non-dream fighters to fight for, and this is what it'll be, kind of thing.
But it seemed definitely much more confident and thought through than part 2, when the idea that even the beginning with her and that classic popsicle stick house and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's really great.
That's really cool, and the whole thing with the dream with the boyfriend and where's the champagne, bitch?
Yeah.
And then, Kristen, this is why I don't like you. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, this became the framework for all the sequels that came afterwards.
True.
Like this is Like if Friday the 13th, probably like 3 or 7 were the ones that were,
Yeah.
3, 6, 7 were what you think of when you think of like Friday
Jason.
the 13th. This is what you think of when you think of Freddy. It's
This
Friday,
probably-
Nightmare 3.
Yeah, because it started what became, kind of started, yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 were
Yeah.
very similar, which we'll
We'll
go
touch
on
on
to
soon.
next. So that's enough of Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3, Dream Warriors. Happy dreams, bitch!
Can I ask you something?
Certainly.
Who gives a fuck what you think?